There's so many reasons why bonsai don't grow. I've just got three that are probably the most common. Let me show you what they are and how to fix them. This tree is root bound. This one's pretty obvious. If we take a look at the pot, we can see that the branches are hitting the sides. We can see that there's roots that are actually growing out of the drainage hole. The roots are basically circling around in here because there's not enough space for them to grow. So what do we do about this? Well, it's simple. All we have to do is go ahead and repot this tree into a larger pot with fresh soil. Now, before I show you how to repot this tree properly, let's take a look at this one right here. I recently did a video where I showed you how to deal with this situation. You can check that out if you want more details. But this tree was root bound. There was no way that those roots could continue to grow inside that pot. So what happened? Well, the roots started circling in the pot, but they ran out of room eventually, and they ended up starting to circle back on themselves. That's how you know a tree is definitely root bound. The roots have started to circle back on themselves. In this case, the branches were still okay. They weren't hitting the pot yet. But in this case, you can see right here, there are already branches that are hitting the side of the pot, and the roots are going to continue to grow. And unless we repot this thing, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So all I did was remove it from its pot, loosened up all the roots, trimmed off about 25% of the roots in the spring. You always want to do this in the spring when the tree is actively growing. That way it has all summer to grow new roots and adjust to the new pot size. The roots I did trim off, I just simply snipped off with pruners. Just make sure they're clean and sharp pruners. So I trimmed about 25% of the roots off, and then I put it into a slightly larger pot with fresh soil, and that should keep this tree happy for another year or two until it's root bound again and needs to be repotted. But there are other reasons besides being root bound why your bonsai might not be growing. This next one is a little bit trickier to spot. It's poor soil. Now this tree does appear to be healthy. We've got new growth here and we've got leaves. But if we take a look at the soil, we can see that this is just straight bark. There's no organic matter in here. There's no nutrients in here. Bonsai need nutrients in order to grow. Without nutrients, they're not going to be able to produce new growth. They're going to end up dropping their leaves or needles, depending on what kind of tree it is. In this case, this is an azalea. It does prefer acidic soil. So what I am gonna not do is add some pine bark fines in here to kind of buffer the pH of the soil so that it is acidic. This also adds a lot of great nutrients for the azalea. Azaleas love pine bark, so I'm going to add that in there. Then I'm also going to add some compost. Compost has great nutrients. It's super high in nitrogen. Nitrogen produces lots of foliage. We can see that this tree really needs some nitrogen. It's very, very skinny and scrawny. So what I'm going to do is add some compost in there. Then lastly, I always add some sort of a green sand, whether it's bonsai green sand or just regular play sand. The green sand helps to balance the pH of the soil. It also adds some potassium. Potassium helps to increase the hardiness of the tree. It makes the tree more frost resistant, so I always add that in there. I mix it all together and I'm ready to plant my azalea. I loosen up the roots a little bit, break up any large roots, and then I put it in the soil and I fill it up around the roots, and then I give it a good watering. Repotting and giving it fresh soil help this tree out a lot. The next reason bonsai don't grow is lack of light. I get this question all the time. People say, hey, I bring my bonsai indoors during the wintertime, and they just don't seem to be growing. Well, guess what? Most bonsai that we keep indoors don't get nearly enough light. That's the no. One reason that bonsai don't grow indoors is lack of light. Now, this tree has done really well. We've got a lot of nice new growth on it. But this tree gets a lot of light. It's by a window. You can see that there's a lot of light coming through. But what I really want to show you is the trunk. You can see how thick the trunk is right here. And now watch how it tapers down. It's much skinnier over here. Why is that? Well, because it's growing towards the light. The light is over here. So all of the cells are expanding over here. It's creating a lot of wood. It's getting thicker. But over here, it's not getting as much light. It's not growing as fast, so we get this taper in the trunk. So the solution is to either move your bonsai to a location that gets more light or supplement it with grow lights. And then the last reason that bonsai don't grow is improper watering. And this is a tricky one because overwatering can kill your bonsai just as easily as underwatering can kill your bonsai. So it's a fine line between underwatering and overwatering. And sometimes you just don't know what to do. Well, there's a simple trick that I use that works every single time. And it's just to stick your finger or a moisture meter about 1.25 centimeters into the soil. If it's dry, it's time to water. If it's wet, then it's not time to water. Now, this is a general rule of thumb, but you can always dig in there with your finger and feel it. Or if you have a moisture meter, you can feel it. And if it shows that it's dry, you can feel it with your finger and it'll feel dry. It's time to water. If you have a moisture meter, you can feel it and it will feel moist. Then it's not time to water. So stick your finger or moisture meter about 1.25 centimeters into the soil. When it's dry, it's time to water. How do you know when it's too much? Well, standing water is usually a sign that you've watered too much. So if we take a look at this pot, there's no standing water. The water goes in, it drains out the bottom, and then we're done. If you see standing water, it means that you've watered too much. It could also mean that you reusing soil that doesn't drain very well, or maybe your pot doesn't have drainage holes. So make sure that you check for that. Well, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please hit the like button. It really helps us out. Also subscribe for more videos about bonsai. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.